through Christ, we have now been reconciled back to God. You see, you and I have been reconciled back to God because somebody took our place. Pastor Steve last week talked about the Nazi concentration camps. And part of the concentration camps in Auschwitz was this guy. His name is Franciszek Gajowniczek. Okay, he was a Polish, Jewish from Poland who got into the Gestapo camps. No? And what happened was in their rule, the policy was if one prisoner would escape, okay, the Nazis would choose 10 other prisoners and execute all 10. Okay? And so there was one time one was able to escape, and so now the officers were choosing 10, and one of the 10 that was chosen was Franciszek Gajowniczek. That's his name. But he started wailing and crying and pleading for his life. I have a son and a daughter. I have children and I have a wife. Please don't execute me. Please don't. And was pleading for his life. And he was quite a young man. And then, out of the blue, somebody steps forward. His name is Maximilian Kolbe. He was a Franciscan priest, actually. So he steps forward and he says, I am quite old, and would you take my life instead of his? So he steps forward and he says, substitute me. Instead of taking his life, take mine. You know, years later, NBC News picked up this story. This is Franciszek Gajowniczek. NBC News several years ago picked up this story, and by this time he was already about 82 years old, this guy. And while he was being interviewed, tears were rolling down his cheeks, and just in gratitude, there was this man, his name is Maximilian Kolbe, who gave his life, who sacrificed his life, who actually substituted. Instead of me being executed, he was the one who was executed. You know, behind his house, there's actually a memorial that he made for Maximilian Kolbe. And what it says on the inscription, in memory of Maximilian Kolbe, he died in my place. At the end of the interview, he said this, I live because someone died for me. I'm alive today, Franciszek Gajowniczek said. I'm alive today because Maximilian Kolbe died for me. But you see what was in that condition, that situation. One instance, similar to what Jesus did, not just for you and not just for one person, but for all who believe in him, who come in his name and believe him and receive him as Lord and Savior.